Hello and welcome to the Newstalgia podcast. This is episode 3, all about the homies. I'm here with my homie, Cody Seymour.
Oh, I'm your homie.
Yeah, and I am Wesley Boudelier, and this is a companion piece to our latest episode of Newstalgia, all about the homies and David Gonzalez, who created them. So if you haven't seen that video, go ahead on our channel, view it, and check that out before you listen to this. But we're going to go more in depth than we did in that video. You know how it goes. But
Yeah.
I guess I'll start how I started with the Sesame Street one, and we'll just talk about our experience with homies. And I don't know if you have any.
I feel like this is unfair because you keep picking things that. So I'd never even heard of homies.
You hadn't heard of them at all
No.
until I brought them up?
No, my parents didn't let me buy stuff out of vending machines at the grocery store. I remember once getting like the little army men with the parachutes and then immediately throwing it on the roof of my grandparents' house, and that was probably the last time I ever got one.
That's impressive because those parachutes suck really bad. I couldn't
Yeah.
ever get them to go anywhere.
Yeah, well, like I said,
Especially
he ended
up.
up on the roof. Well, I mean, I threw him, so
Oh.
he didn't really.
The parachute didn't even come out. He just landed on it.
I think so. So no, I'd never even heard of it.
That's surprising.
You make me feel like I led a very unprivileged childhood, which I didn't. So I don't know. I never had one. But
I had a lot of interest as a kid and a lot of weird, like, random interests. I wasn't even, like, a huge homies collector. I think I just liked toys. And so if there was a chance to get another toy at the end of a grocery store trip, I was all about it.
well, yeah, of course, you're still like that. Anytime you and I ever go to any store, you have to stop and see if they have something exclusive.
Oh, well, that's a little different, but
No,
it's
it's
more.
not. You're still just
I'm more
a kid waiting for the end of the trip so that you can get your toy.
Not, I am, but then it's also just like anytime there's a toy with something, like I'm gonna get the thing that comes with the toy. Like if it's cereal or if it's at the movie theater and they're like, oh, you can have this cup of soda for $2, or you can have this one with a little fun topper that's $10. I'm always like,
you got that in the we were waiting in line for the Force Awakens. You got that stupid cup with a Ray on top of it.
Yeah, anytime there's a toy involved, I'll always go the toy route. I just pre-ordered Into the Spider-Verse, and it's the Walmart version that comes with a toy.
Of course.
And it's never like a good toy. It's not like the best toy in the world. It's just like a little cheap thing.
Wait, so do you still have any of the homies that you had from when you were a kid?
They might be in a box somewhere in my parents' house. Quite possibly. I mean, they're small. They get lost very easily.
Yeah.
So they're in there with like some other random crap. But I definitely remember like a few homies that I definitely had as a kid. I could not tell you their names. I know they make a big deal about like the bios and everything. And David Gonzalez himself seems very like protective of like each character and like their personalities and stuff. And he's like, oh, this one is this and this one is this, and it's very in depth on his website. But I don't think I knew anything about any of the bios.
They didn't like
as a
come
kid.
with it in the little bubble that it came in. Did
No,
it?
no, they could have easily put like a slip of paper in there. That
Let me see one. Do they even say like homies on them? Like
I thought some of them. This one says homies trademark China.
yeah,
That's
this
it.
one says 2000. Oh, this one's from 2005. Homies shop. So if you say
Oh.
homies on them, I mean, I guess
They don't even have like the name of the character
that's what
on
I'm
them.
saying.
Though.
Like he makes such a big deal about knowing. Like he knows every character's story by like heart. It seems from judging from the interviews that we read. But why don't they put those into the?
Yeah, that's kind of
bubbles.
weird because I mean, especially when I was a kid and these were coming out, like the internet wasn't like in your pocket necessarily. You can just pull it out and be like, oh, let me go on the homies website. Especially, I don't even know if you could go on the homies website on your phone now because it's still on like
Yeah.
Flash Player or something.
Yeah.
I guess Flash Player doesn't exist anymore, does it?
I guess not.
I don't
You're
know.
thinking of Shockwave, but
Yeah, but their website's very like.
speaking of that, this is the guy that's in that little meme you found on his website that says
Yeah.
people just don't understand the homies.
Yeah, we actually got a lot of good homies here. We bought some on eBay
How much
because
did you pay for these? $20.
something like that. Yeah, but it came with a lot of them
Yep, just blew our whole budget for the season on that.
on a bag full of homies. But it's probably a good thing that they didn't come with the bios, because some of these bios are
Ridiculous.
they're
Wait,
a little much.
Where's the guy? So there's the Raiders fan where they chain him to a pole. Is that yeah?
Yeah, the whole story behind this guy, I don't remember his name, but it's a guy in a Raiders jersey, or like Raiders colors, and he's chained to a pole, and
Because he goes crazy because the Raiders suck every
yeah,
year.
it's actually funny. That's like a pretty
is, but,
good.
like,
That's a good bit, but
it's
I don't know
ridiculous.
that it's like a kid is gonna be like, oh, that's funny that his
A kid who
team.
grew up cheering for the Raiders would.
I mean, I guess so. If your family was like a household of Raiders fans, like hardcore, then that definitely would like strike a chord with you. But
Yeah.
then there's one. Is his name like Devil? His name is like the El Diablo, I
Yeah.
believe, and he's like the bad homie that like tempts the kids and tempts the other homies with like bad things, and like that's a good idea for a character. That makes sense, but the way he describes it is like he tempts them with angel dust and PCP. I don't know if he says PCP, but he goes like
Well, Angel Dust is PCP, so
he goes
he must.
pretty hardcore with like the descriptions, and I was literally like, this is a little much for a child. That would be my cat in the background if you can hear that.
She's really going off. The problem I have with all of these stories is I know he's really all about them not being stereotypes. Like, he's defended that for literally like 3 decades, or however long he's been making these, 2 decades, I guess.
Yeah.
But boy, if they don't all seem like a bunch of stereotypes. Like,
It's-
I'm not Hispanic, you're not Hispanic, he is. So I guess he would know best, right? But at the same time,
I think his thing is like, it's a stereotype, but it's true. But I don't feel comfortable saying that it's true, but he does. So I mean, more power to him, I guess. Like, I don't really know. I can understand why some people are upset by it. I read a whole article about
but actually, who is upset by it? Is it actually Latinos that are upset by it? Because I have a feeling it's...
some were. There's like a whole article, I can't remember where it was from, about like they interviewed like a bunch of like professors and like those kinds of people about homies and like how it affects the Latin American community, and
Well, it's like the
that
Speedy
sort of thing.
Gonzalez thing. Like,
Yeah.
they wanted Speedy Gonzalez... People wanted Speedy Gonzalez taken off the air because it was racist and stereotypical, but, like, Mexican people love Speedy Gonzalez, like, even though he's
At the
a
time,
stereotype.
yeah. But I think that's part of the problem, is because there wasn't. I mean, it's a problem that
It's
I
a
think
it's a
people-
representation thing, I guess.
Yeah, because at that time, what other Mexican characters were on TV? It was Speedy Gonzalez and who else?
Yeah, that's it. I mean,
Lucy's husband.
was he Mexican?
He was
Okay, we're getting
Latino.
off track here. It's fine.
But it's the same way with like Apu on The Simpsons, and like
Yeah.
that's offensive now. But like back then, that was like the only Indian guy on TV like at all.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's hard to say with homies.
I don't think they're offensive. I guess I just really mean to say that, like every homie was based off of some stereotype, it seems. At least the original, like, run of homies. But they are hilarious for the most part, like, the stories. If you have time, really just go on his old ass crappy website and just read through some of them, because just pick them at random and they're pretty funny.
Some of them are very serious. I think the problem with homies is that it's a toy, which is like you would think is for kids, but it didn't start out like for kids when he was like making comics and doing this and doing that. And so transitioning to like making a kids product just didn't go over that well, because
Isn't
like
there a guy who's like kneeling at the cross, like praying for his lost homies or something like that?
oh yeah, he lost his brother in a drive-by or something like that, or gang violence of some
Pretty
sort.
dark.
Yeah, it's some dark shit like that. And then Shady, that I mentioned in the or that David Gonzalez mentioned in a quote that I use in the video. Shady has like a long jacket on, and she has sunglasses on, and it's because she covers up her body, because at night she goes and strips to like make money for her kids. It's wild.
So just imagine you're a 7-year-old kid, white kid in the suburbs, and you get that character out of a vending machine. Like, are you really going to appreciate the struggle of...
I mean, but you would be none the wiser unless you go on the website.
That's true.
So I
See
can.
and that's that weird dichotomy. Like he wants like kids to go buy them for 50 cents or however much out of a vending machine, but then he also wants them to have like the serious message. I think it's weird. Maybe it's
I
just me.
I don't. I think it's because we aren't from where he's from. I
I
think
suppose
this
so.
is probably very helpful for people who like are in a community that suffers from like gang violence or like I don't know, stuff like that.
Yeah,
And then reading these stories would be helpful. We can't relate because I mean, like, how could we?
that's
We're
true.
suburban goobers,
Yeah.
but um, yeah, it's wild though.
What's
Some of
your
these stories.
what's your favorite one of the little group that we've got here?
Uh, God, it's hard to choose. I wish I had all the names here. We got a really cool pimp guy with a he's got a cane and a ponytail and a
Yeah.
purple suit and
We have
hat.
there's two like pimp guys. There's no one in a green suit. I can see him right
Oh
there.
yeah, he's got a literal pimp cup
Yeah.
and a green suit. That's pretty
My
good
favorite
too.
is the fucking trash can.
Oh
I
yeah,
don't-
we got a trash can. It has no homie in it or on it. It's just
Yeah.
a plain trash can with like pigeons and like banana peels and shit.
Yep, that's literally all it is. Now it's sitting on my shelf at home.
There's also this story is I some people might find it funny. It's kind of just blatant and like crazy. But I was on David Gonzalez's Facebook page. He has a homies Facebook page and then his personal Facebook page. But his homies one is where I got probably almost every picture for this video because he just posts on there all the time. I was scrolling through a lot of pictures from his like current brand DGA, and it's all just like these chicks with like booty shorts and like
Yeah.
his t-shirts. So I had to like click past like probably hundreds of those pictures plus a bunch of like memes that he posts every day. He'll post like a homie and it'll be like, can a homie get a good morning? Like every day.
Oh god.
he's he's just this like 50-year-old some guy on Facebook. It's like looking at your dad's Facebook or something. But I don't remember where I was going with that.
I don't know. You're talking about scrolling through all the photos on Facebook.
Oh yeah. He was talking about his some of his current ones. He had like the big headed homies that he made with his son, and he was posting a lot of pictures of those and different vending machines around the country. And he found somebody at a store who was putting, I don't even know why they were doing this. They were putting like little mini burritos and tacos in the homies vending machine for people to like get out of there. And he was like, these are not homies. These are not like related to me at all. I had nothing to do with this. I would not do this to my fans. I'm gonna talk to whoever runs this store. And I was kind of shocked. I was like, why would they even do that? Like make like first of all, where do you get fake little plastic tacos and burritos? And second of all, why would you put them in that machine?
It's crazy to think this is like an entire industry, like those toy vending machines.
It's not an industry that's going well at the moment, though.
Yeah, I guess, I mean, all right, so I'm in my 20s, so obviously when I'm leaving the grocery store, I don't look for them anymore, but they're still there, right?
Yeah, there was a time when there was more like brands in there. I remember getting like some Nickelodeon ones. I
Yeah.
still have like some SpongeBob ones. They had Fairly Odd Parents, Cat Dog. They had a lot of cool like Nickelodeon ones at one time, but I don't. I mean, I don't look at them that often anymore, but I don't think you. I don't. I promise. I say as I just spent $18 on a crane machine the other day to get an ET stuffed animal, but I don't look at the 25-cent.
We're adults.
Yeah, I work to get my toys out of a crane machine like a gamer. But what was I saying?
About the vending machines.
I'm so like
Oh,
caught
so
up in
you're
looking at
talking
these
about that, like,
homies.
if you listen to that has Steak and Shake still has toy vending machines.
Yeah, but I feel like a lot of brands don't have their
Representation
stuff
in there
in
anymore.
there. Yeah, because it's probably I don't know. It looks bad. I don't know. Do
I don't
people
know if
think?
it even looks bad. I just think there's just no money in it anymore.
Yeah, that's probably what it
Because
is.
another part of it is people don't carry cash as much as they used to, so therefore they don't have change as much as they used to.
I tell you what they do now. Instead of putting their toys in a vending machine for like 50 cents, they put them in those freaking blind boxes that you buy for like $10 at Hot Topic or whatever. You don't know what figure you're gonna get. You open it up and open the bag, and you get one that you already have or whatever.
I've
It's
never seen that before.
oh like a lot of brands do it. Funko does a lot of them, like a mystery thing, but there's also like smaller ones. I don't remember who makes them, but I've gotten like Marvel ones and DC ones before.
Well, you better believe if Funko has a chance to make some money, they're gonna do it.
Yeah. Well, some of these aren't even Funko. Like they'll have little plastic ones that are probably homie size or smaller, and you don't know what you're gonna get, and you pay like $5 or something to like open up a blind box. That's what people are doing now because it's all about the mystery boxes.
That's true. That is really popular now.
I never thought about that correlation. That is basically the same as it's basically exactly the same as the vending machines because you don't know what you're gonna get, and you're taking a chance. And for some reason, that's exciting to people. I mean, it's exciting to me. I've been like suckered into that lots of times, but that's basically the same as what the vending machines are, and you can get $5 out of somebody or $10 out of somebody instead of just a measly 50 cents.
That's true.
I'm honestly shocked that Homies hasn't done something like that. They have some other things that aren't like these tiny figures. They have like 6-inch figures or like big ones, and I have no idea where you get those. I guess on his website at one point maybe they had them, but he posted on his Homies Facebook page a Funko Pop that they had made of one of his characters. He made it himself, him and some buddies or whoever he knew, and it was actually a pretty good like customized Funko Pop. And they took it to Funko apparently, and they turned him down. But I was like, that seems like a really weird way to do that. I don't think you have to like make your own Funko Pop and then go to a company and try to sell them on the idea.
So he's still making new ones, from what we've gathered. Where are they selling them? Online?
They're still selling stuff in vending machines. I mean, he posted pictures of all the like big-headed homies, like the new ones, out and about. But he said this year and 2020 are gonna be big years for homies. Apparently, I don't know what he's got planned, but I don't know. I feel like it's one of those things that a very select few people are nostalgic for, and me being one of them. And it's a niche market for sure. But
Yeah.
I think that would be the way to go, is those blind boxes. They could probably sell a pretty penny out of those.
I mean, I definitely think it's time to update that business model because,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, there's a documentary, like a mini documentary on Vice about a guy who runs the vending machines. Like, he doesn't make toys or anything. He just runs the vending machines in different pizzerias and stuff in New York. And the dude is making no money whatsoever. He said it used to be a time he'd get like thousands of dollars out of like one machine. And he talks about homies and says that was like their biggest success ever. Like, it was crazy. He was like just quarters piled up in his house from homies. And now he's like barely scrounging by. He'll get like $12 out of one restaurant, and it's a tough racket. I can't believe he still does it. Yeah, it's not pretty, but yeah.
Did you want to talk about David Gonzalez's brother specifically?
Yeah, I was gonna get into that. I also want to talk about some of the other things he's made that are not homies, that are a little
like the Palermos.
Yeah, let's get into that before we get into the personal stuff. But the Palermos are probably worse than the homies, I would say, if you want to talk about like stereotypes.
Because we talked about the stereotypes at length already, and okay, it's a guy who grew up around these types of people, so he's just kind of showing what he knows. But when you start making...
Yeah, you can make fun of yourself, I think, but then at the same time, like, if you're making fun of everybody, like South Park or something, then, like, no one can be offended because you made fun of everybody. But I don't know. This is just like, homies seems more, like, nice. Like, it's showing, like, oh, this is how some people live. Like, this is what people are going through. This is real stuff. But the Palermos are literally a mob family that opens up a pizzeria. And
isn't it like a mafia themed pizzeria?
Yeah, a mafia themed pizzeria. They give up their mafia lifestyle to run this pizzeria, and their slogan is "The Family Pizzeria, flavor you cannot refuse."
One thing I noticed is it's hard to tell the difference between some of the Palermos and some of the homies. They don't really look all that different.
No, they really don't. But some of the Palermos look a little more offensive than others, I will say.
Yeah. It's just, I don't know. I mean, like I said, I'd never even heard of the homies, but that feels like it's a stretch, the Palermos.
Yeah, it's not pretty, but pretty sure Martin Scorsese's gonna do like a movie version of the Palermos. It's gonna be pretty good.
Oh, is that one he's got coming out on Netflix this year?
Yes, the Palermos. It's loosely based on it. But he also had some of these were on his press kit on his website, like Frogtown, which is just frogs.
And the one with the dogs. What was that one called?
Was it just called Dog Pound? It was like dogs with like, I think I had some of those actually. There's like a dog wearing like prison stripes and like got a chain, some sunglasses or something.
Sounds about right.
But
I mean, hey, the guy has a style and he sticks to it, I guess. So
I just wonder what happened with these ones. Or like, I don't know. I don't know if those happened before or after Homies. I gotta imagine they'd be after, because
yeah,
you want to like switch it up or whatever, because Homies were like the bread and butter. That's what he got famous off of, the comics and everything. So then I guess you just start throwing darts at the dartboard and say, oh, how about frogs?
and dogs.
And my favorite, the hood rats.
The hood rats, yes.
Literally exactly what it sounds like, just a bunch of rats dressed up to look hood. Like gangster ass rats. It's the most simple thing. Like it's like something you'd see on like I was gonna say a Hallmark card or like a Goofy like card, but not even that. It's just like a Goofy pun, and he just went like guns blazing with it. Like
He definitely does. He really is like making like dad jokes like with a lot of these characters and stuff.
yeah, that one's definitely a dad joke. And a lot of his stuff on Facebook is like a lot of like homie related memes, or just like Mexican culture kind of memes. Like I think one I saw recently on his page was like someone putting a blindfold on a kid to like hit a piñata, and they said like Bird Box doesn't have shit on this essay or something like that. I was like, oh my god, he really is like a dad sharing memes, because he got to start really young, but he's got to be like in his 50s now, I think.
I think we looked it up and he's either late 40s or early 50s.
Yeah, because I mean his son is pretty old in that picture that I have in the video.
Yeah, he's at least our age, I would imagine.
Yeah, probably so. So he really is just like this dad that's like sharing memes and like I guess making memes himself
and making toys.
Yeah, I would like to know more about how he got into toys, because like all I could find was like a distributor was like, hey, you want to make these toys? But I wonder like how much he does. Like, does he just like give them the drawings and they make toys? Or
Yeah, I guess I don't
gotta
know
believe
enough
there's
about-
like some 3D modeling and rendering and like all that sort of thing, and like painting the figures, which obviously I'm sure he doesn't do, but there's got to be like some other stuff you got to do before it becomes a plastic figure.
I feel like these are ripe for 3D printing.
Yeah.
Like, they basically, like, if you look at them, I mean, they're nice. They're nicer than most 3D printers, than most like 3D printers that somebody would have in their house. But like, they almost remind me of like a little 3D printed figure. Like,
That's probably what they would do now to make these, I would think.
I don't know. We don't have any recent modern ones. I think most of ours are from
Yeah, these are the old school ones.
or mid 2000s. So
These are the OGs.
yeah, we don't have. But speaking of the brother, we don't have his brother's figure, do we?
We don't have El Padrecito, and we don't have the one in the wheelchair, which
Was in Raising Victor Vargas.
yeah, it was in Raising Victor Vargas, and it's also kind of based on his brother as well, I think. His brother Robert, he goes by something else now. I need to find what it is, but he was kind of like had a rough life growing up, because he was very into like gangs and all this shit, and he lost a leg. He has a fake leg now, which he talks about it in this video. I use like a little clip from it in our video where he's like standing in front of the like car that has his homie on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he talks about it how he had a rough go of it and he lost a leg and you would never know it, but like one of these is a mechanical leg, and I want to say it was from. He said it was like a gang fight, but I thought it was like with a car, I think is what I read. But he was real into like gangs and drugs and like all this stuff, and he turned his life around and became a priest. And he was like, everyone said he was like the last person they ever expected to become a priest. And he's a Catholic priest now, and he has a homie named after him, and he uses it in his church. Like there's pictures of him with like that mural. He was like blessing a mural of El Padrecito, like in I want to say it was Guatemala. I don't remember, but yeah, he uses that like that's him in all of his stuff. And I think I read that David gave him the full rights to the character for $1. He gave him $1, and now he gets to put it on all of his stuff, and it's pretty cool. And it's actually on I don't know if this is still open, but that video where he was talking about all that stuff was him opening a dance studio for kids. El Padrecito Dance Studio. I don't remember if that's what it's called exactly, but there's definitely a picture of that homie like on the building. It's pretty cool. So it's wild that homies kind of helped him as well. There's a cool article that some newspaper did about the two of them. I just didn't include it in the video, the stuff about his brother, because it's hard to include because it's so separate. It's just kind of like a cool
tangentially related.
Yeah, it's just kind of like a cool thing on the side. And there's a really cool picture of them I found recently. He was at a show that they did, like a toy expo or whatever it was, and there's a cool picture of him in like his priest robes, and he's with David, and they're in front of like a homies banner. So I thought that was really cool. I was trying to look up stuff about him, and I think I just typed in like Robert Gonzalez priest or something. I don't remember. But then like one of the results was like these Catholic priests were charged with cruelty to children or whatever. And I was like, shit, I hope he's not one of them. But I don't think it was. I think it was somebody else named Robert. Do not think it was him, but you never know. Catholic Church be wildin'. But no, he's a good guy as far as I can tell, and he's changed a lot, because that's a long, like, a big gap between being I was going to say a gang guy. I don't think they call themselves gang guys.
Gang guys. So, dude, I'm a gang guy.
But you know what I mean? And then becoming like a priest. And there was like a picture of him actually like at the Vatican and everything. So it's pretty cool. He's like legit.
I mean, most of the stuff that we've found that I've found or you've found and sent to me, it's mostly wholesome stuff related to homies. I mean,
except for the Homies Hip Hop Show.
Yes. Yeah, I guess that's a good...
I think that's another example of like homies being for kids, but also not. And I don't feel bad talking shit about the Homies Hip Hop Show. If you've seen the video, you've seen like that one clip, and
it's about as good as it gets.
It's all that bad. It's all terrible. And some of it is like weirdly like homophobic and weirdly like gang bangy, like not like the butt of the joke is like this guy is gonna get some from these guys. Like it's like I think one of them was like he says something about MySpace and he's like, I want to get in your space, and then he gets like surrounded by a bunch of guys, and I was like, I don't know about that.
What's worse though, the Homies Hip Hop Show or oops, I dropped a homie. What's worse, the Homies Hip Hop Show or the Nintendo DS game?
Oh, the Homies Hip Hop Show is way worse.
Well, I guess we won't really know because we will never play. What was it called? The
Homies Rollers.
Yeah, it's a racing game, right? Like basically.
Yeah,
like...
I mean, it's a bad racing game. It looks really bad. The graphics are bad, and it's probably not fun to play. But the Homies Hip Hop Show is just like offensive and like shitty, and like the animation's bad. It's just like crappy
Stop motion animation.
Yeah, but they're like, I don't understand like the point. I don't know what LATV is for one. That's probably, I don't know. It's probably a bunch of guys just like joking around and like they made a crappy
I would
show.
assume it's probably just like a local access thing in LA. So
That's what I'm guessing, but
don't know, though.
it's a shame because the Homies I feel like are like perfect for like an animated series, like
yeah,
actual like hand drawn animation or something like that, not like this crappy stop motion and like crappy jokes. Because like we were saying, like all of them have like pretty serious stories. You could probably like really delve deep. They could at least do some. I don't know if they've ever done like shorts or anything, like animated shorts.
I just don't think that it ever caught on enough mainstream wise to
like blow up.
to get that kind of attention.
I mean, he got a Scholastic deal. He had the Miho's books for kids.
Yeah.
And that sort of thing. I mean, he's definitely done very well for himself, and it's definitely gotten more like critical acclaim and more popularity than you would have thought it would.
For a vending machine toy, yeah.
Yeah, for a vending machine toy,
But-
and for a vending machine toy that's about like gangsters. Like it's about guys from the barrio, and it's no nonsense. It's not like sugarcoating anything, and it's like, hey, this is what it is, take it or leave it, and it's like unapologetic with how like raw it
It
is.
just makes you wonder though, is it the fact that like just because the type of toy it was that it just never really caught on with mainstream enough to get like a show or anything like that, or was it something that he missed out on? I mean, who knows? And maybe he didn't want it to. If he approved the Homies Hip Hop Show though, I think he would probably approve anything for Homies. So
That's true. I don't really know how much he had to do with the Homies Hip Hop Show, luckily, because I was looking on IMDb and he's not credited as a producer or anything.
yeah,
And so, thank God. I hope he didn't have anything to do with that. Because it's pretty bad. But, yeah, that's probably the only thing that was kind of questionable that I came across from Homies specifically.
yeah.
But, at least Snoop Dogg likes them.
Apparently so. That's why they're in that music video. What song is that?
From the church to the palace. I'm just saying it how it's spelled in the song.
Yeah, we because I think we saw that it was mentioned, but we didn't know what song it was, so we had to just. I don't even know how we found it. I think we just searched for like an hour.
I eventually found it in an article that actually named what song it was, and then I was
okay.
like, okay, I'm gonna look up that music video then. And sure enough, there's a
And-
few little homies
And then
sitting
Raising
there.
Victor Vargas was like the most direct reference to Homies that we could find in anything.
That's like blatant too. I
I
wasn't
know.
expecting it to be like, hey,
But it kind of
here's a-
fits.
Yeah, it definitely fits well. It doesn't feel like an advertisement,
No.
but it's kind of cool. I like that a lot, and I definitely used the hell out of it in this video because
Yes.
it's just so good. Because there's not really any like footage of actual Homies vending machines.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, thank you, Victor Vargas. Big ups. But yeah, if you look on the Homies website, homies.tv,
Mm-hmm.
you can see a Snoop Dogg homie. He made a
a drawing. Of him,
yeah, but he said it would never be sold as a figure. There'd never be a Snoop Dogg figure. It's a shame because
I know they're missing out. That seems like a good.
maybe they couldn't get the rights to a Snoop figure. I don't know. I know there's Snoop Dogg dolls that like talk and stuff from back in the day.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's on there, and there was some other people who liked Homies too. I think it was just like some rappers showed up to like an expo that they were doing or something. They were at like a toy show or a car show or something. They had Homies there, and I think like E40 and whoever else showed up and like showed love. And obviously that picture of him with LL Cool J that I had in the video.
Yeah.
As soon as I found that kind of late in my research, and I was like, oh, that's going in there. That's the best. But I think that's about it with the homies. Honestly, kind of doing this really made me appreciate them more, and kind of like looking back at his story and like all the stuff he's overcome and like how successful they've been.
Yeah. Well, that's good because now you have like 30 of them. So
Yeah, but also I'm just kind of excited to see what he does next because he's so, I don't know, he's a wild guy. Even though he's been in the game so long, I feel like he's not like, he doesn't feel like an industry guy. He definitely doesn't feel like a guy in the toy industry. You would never
yeah.
guess. He's still very real and very like raw. Like he posts everything on his Facebook and is like when he was working on his retrospective book, he was posting stuff all the time. That's where I got a lot of the like really good vintage pics in there because he'd post them and be like, "Oh, look at what I'm going through. I found this and this picture of this guy and my friend doing this, and I'm working on this book. I'm so excited." And so I don't know. He's just very like real, and that's refreshing. But
It is refreshing, especially considering some of the other topics we've researched so far that have just died. He's keeping it
yeah,
alive. This is the first episode that we've put up that is still going, which is kind of strange when you think about it that
yeah,
way.
that's true. It's not going as strong. I guess you could say, but it's still, homie still exists. He's still out there like doing his thing. He's still doing even when he's like selling his t-shirts, he still has like some homie stuff there. And he's still doing the same old same old. So that's pretty cool. And I guess he's trying to do more.
Yeah.
And I really want to read his book because there was like some definitely more good pictures in there and definitely probably some cool stories. But even like the Kindle version is like $30 or something. Like it's not a cheap book, but I bet it's got some good stuff. If you're interested in more homies history, that's bound to have a lot of it.
Yep.
But yeah, you're right. This is the first thing we've done where
It's still going.
yeah,
So far.
and I want to say it's the first thing where it's somebody who's actually like passionate about. I mean, like other people were passionate. Like Gene Platten was obviously like passionate about the Sesame Street general store,
But like
but
from
like
a businessman's perspective.
yeah, like all of these other ones, like with Epics, none of the guys who originally started it like ended up with it when it ended, right?
Yeah, all the original two guys were both gone before Epics even became Epics.
Yeah,
So
so all of that has been like business stuff and like it's a job to them. They get hired to take over this company and like run this shit. But this
this
is
is like
something
his life's work kind
he
of.
literally like drew these characters when he was 16,
Yeah.
like just for shits and giggles, and now it's like
And he's still part of it, still with it.
yeah,
So,
now it's like his empire, his legacy, and he's still making money off it in his 50s. So
good for him.
that's the dream right there. That's pretty
Yeah.
pretty damn good.
Yep.
Definitely probably the most passionate person that we've discussed on here so far.
Oh, definitely so far.
And he takes it real serious too. You can tell just from like his Facebook posts.
He is interesting to follow. We've looked over his social media a lot. Like if you care about this at all, I mean he cares about it way more, I can promise you.
Yeah. Especially because there's so many freaking characters. Like
I know.
I don't know how he keeps it all straight. Like he could tell you the backstory of all of them and what this one feels about this and all sorts of stuff. It's pretty crazy.
Yep.
I reached out to him on Facebook and I never heard anything back. But Facebook's kind of weird with like Messenger. Like if you're not friends with the person,
That's
they
been
probably
the
won't
theme
see
of
it.
this working on these videos anyways is I mean honestly when you're bringing up something, I mean it's a little different for him because he's still doing it, but when you're bringing up something that somebody did 20 years ago, a lot of times they're not super passionate about it, talking about it still. So
It depends what it is though. If it's like obscure enough and they're like, how the hell do you even know about this?
well,
We'll get into that. I'm not gonna.
Yeah, if you're still listening, you'll know more what we're talking about in a future episode. But yeah, so
Yeah, we have reached out to other people. I reached out to some people for my next one. Won't be the next episode. It'll be the episode after that, and it's
yeah, because I got an episode coming up next, which I
Yeah.
think people are gonna like because It's not super obscure. It's probably honestly the least obscure thing we've done, but I'd be really surprised if most people have even heard of it.
And then following that is probably the most obscure we've ever done.
Yeah, we got some good videos coming up. I'm excited.
And I reached out to probably like 8 or 9 people, and talked to all of them. I think I have.
This is one you've been working on like pretty much since the beginning of working on this series in general. So.
Yeah, I have like hours of phone conversations on my computer right now that I have to go through and start editing for this next one. But it's a weird one. It's gonna be good.
But we got some good stuff coming up, so
yeah.
Hope you guys are excited.
I would still love to hear from David Gonzalez though, if he like randomly gets my Facebook message someday. And I'll be like, hey, can I just like record a phone conversation and we throw it up on YouTube? But that would be cool.
Yeah.
He'll probably just tell me to go read his book, honestly.
Probably, but who wants to read?
Yeah, I'd rather talk to the man himself.
Was there anything else that came up or that you came across that we left out of the video?
I think that was about it, honestly.
This one was pretty straightforward, just because, like we said, it's still going today, so there's not like a whole lot of mystery.
Yeah, and there's no
everything.
Like sad ending. There's no like.
I know, this is the first time where we didn't have to like switch to sad music and like drop our voices to be like, and now it's dead.
Yeah,
so that's
this
nice.
is like a triumphant ending. Like he built a legacy and it's still going.
Yeah. Yeah, but we'll be back in week after next with another episode, so stay tuned.
Yeah, keep checking in, and I guess that's it. We'll see you next time.
Yeah, see you next time.